Child and Youth Services and the Minister responsible for women's issues. She's representing the Premier of Ontario, and I am personally pleased because of her involvement with trying to make things better for all of us. I could read her biography, but I know you're under time constraints. This is a very busy time. She has given us 15 to 20 minutes of her time, and look, she is a pink hatter. She asked what she should be wearing, so she's wearing lavender in our honor. Let's welcome the Minister of Women's Issues. Okay, ladies.
Okay. Well, I'm very pleased to be here today, and the Premier wished that he could have been here himself, but for those of you that live in our great province, you know that we have a heck of a lot of things on the go right now. I represent a Toronto community, which is just over there on the waterfront in the riding of Etobicoke Lakeshore, and I'm very, very pleased that we've been asked, and I want to welcome Debra to Ontario. It's a great pleasure that you've been here in our province, and I've just heard about your travels. I really want to thank the Red Hat Society for your leadership in making such an impact on so many women's lives, and I know that you will make much more impact. 10 years down, many, many more years to go. And I thought just with the few minutes that I have with you today, I would talk a little bit about the impact that women are making in government, so that you know that you have sisters at Queen's Park, and that we're all working on many of the same issues and causes. Our Women's Caucus is one of the most powerful caucuses in our government. And we've made many decisions and choices over the last 8 years that we've been in office to tackle issues that matter to women. I've been privileged to lead the province's Domestic Violence Action Plan, the province's Sexual Violence Action Plan, the plan to lift women and their children out of poverty, decisions that we've made to tackle issues that are important to women. And I think that is so critical, because in election campaigns, we don't often talk about the issues that matter to women. So we're out across the province and reaching out to women's organizations, working in partnership with them to make decisions about how do we look after each other. And I'll just leave you with a couple of those decisions that were critically important to me. I'm a mom. I have twin boys who are 6 years old, and so they started grade 1 this week. A number of years ago, when they were first born, I had to go and pay for their vaccinations for meningitis. And I remember thinking at the time, $400 is a big expense, and I bet there's lots of moms who can't make this decision and who can't pay this right now. I brought that issue back to my Premier. I brought it back to the Minister of Health at the time. And right now in Ontario, we are now paying for $1,600 worth of children's vaccination that we didn't pay for 4 years ago. So that's of how women are making an impact in our government. Women, like all of you, are also caregivers to many other women in your lives. Now we know that is a struggle, and so, for example, we've brought in home care, but in this election we're talking about something different. We're recognizing the fact that sometimes the simple things are the big barriers. My own grandmother needed a ramp. It was very expensive to put a ramp in, very expensive to put an elevator, a new bathtub. We're going to give a tax credit so that our parents, all of you, can live in your own homes when you want to do that. And that's bringing the perspective of women to government, the issues that matter to women. And one last piece of information that I will give you before I read what the Premier has sent is, if you want to understand how much the Premier values the input of women, I'm going to give you 2 facts about our Premier. When I was pregnant with those same boys that I talked to you about, I was serving as Minister of the Environment. And he named me into that post when I was 5 months pregnant with twins. And a lot of folks said, how is that going to be? I was the first woman ever in Ontario to serve in cabinet and have a baby. And our Premier said she's going to do it like every other mother has ever done it in this province. said, my mother juggled kids and a career. Women do that every day. It's no different serving in the Ontario legislature. It's no different sitting at the cabinet table. The second piece I want you to remember is that there are 11 women that sit in our cabinet, and the Premier has given us responsibility for 80% of all government spending. When you add up the ministries that we control, women make decisions about 80% of government spending. So you know that we're frugal, you know that we make good decisions, and that we bring your perspective to the table. So thank you so much for inviting us to be here. Thank you for the work that you do. My Premier has asked me to read some remarks, and I'll just read a little bit of them. Our province and our nation are fortified by conscientious organizations that are dedicated to making a positive, lasting difference in their communities and to society at large. Since its founding in Toronto a decade ago, the Red Hat Society of Canada has brought together women across the country by enabling them to connect with and support one another. He's confident that your stay in the province will be met with more hospitality, and I'm sure it will. So thank you so much.
And for those of my friends, will you please come and take pictures for me? Because you know I'm usually doing it. I could use some pictures. Oh. Okay. It's my small hat.
Thanks.
But your brim up there. That way we can see your face. Maybe not on both sides of it, I think.